Assassin's Creed is getting another spin-off in 2026. And at this point, the announcement doesn't just raise curiosity, it raises questions. Because when you hear Assassin's Creed is expanding yet again, the immediate reaction isn't just what is it, but why now? And maybe more importantly, who is this for? After nearly 2 decades of evolution, reinvention, and at times identity shifts, the franchise has reached a stage where every new project feels less like a singular vision and more like part of a much larger content machine driven by Ubisoft. And that's not automatically a bad thing, but it does change how we look at each new release. To understand why this new spin-off feels different, you have to look at where Assassin's Creed is right now. This is no longer just a yearly or even occasional flagship title. It's a full ecosystem. You've got large-scale RPG entries that can take over 100 hours to complete, smaller narrative-focused games trying to recapture the feel of earlier titles, mobile adaptations, experimental multiplayer ideas, and long-term live service ambitions all coexisting under one banner. That kind of expansion signals confidence, but also introduces a problem. When everything is Assassin's Creed, what actually stands out? The franchise used to feel like an event. Each new entry pushed technology, storytelling, or gameplay forward in a meaningful way. Now, with so many projects in development at once, it risks becoming background noise. So when a new spin-off gets announced, the central question becomes unavoidable. Is Assassin's Creed doing too much? And the honest answer is, it might be. Not because the ideas themselves are bad, but because volume changes perception. When releases are spaced out, players have time to anticipate, to engage deeply, and to reflect on what made each entry unique. When releases become constant, even high-quality experiences can start to feel disposable. It's not just about how good a game is, it's about how much space it has to breathe. And right now, Assassin's Creed doesn't have much breathing room at all. But there's another layer to this, and it's worth taking seriously. Spin-offs can be incredibly valuable when they're used correctly. They allow developers to experiment without the pressure of redefining the entire franchise. They create opportunities to explore ideas that wouldn't fit into a mainline title, and sometimes they end up influencing the direction of the series in ways that main entries never could. If this 2026 spin-off is designed with that mindset, if it's trying something bold, something unexpected, something that challenges what Assassin's Creed is supposed to be, then it could actually be one of the most important releases the franchise has had in years. The problem is that not all spin-offs are created with that intention. Sometimes they exist simply to maintain visibility, to keep the brand active between major releases, to ensure there's always something new with the Assassin's Creed name attached to it. And when that's the goal, the results tend to be forgettable. Not necessarily bad, but not impactful either. They don't redefine anything. They don't spark conversation. They just exist, get played, and fade out of relevance. That's the risk this new spin-off faces. It could either be a meaningful addition to the franchise, or just another entry in an already crowded lineup. What makes this situation particularly interesting is how Assassin's Creed has already gone through multiple identity shifts over the years. It started as a stealth-focused, narrative-driven experience centered around historical conspiracies and tightly designed cities. Then it transitioned into massive open-world RPGs with loot systems, branching choices, and expansive maps. More recently, there's been an effort to reconnect with the series' roots while still maintaining the scale that modern players expect. That push and pull between old and new has defined the franchise for years now, and a spin-off has the potential to lean fully in one direction without compromise. It could double down on classic stealth mechanics, or it could go even further into experimental territory with completely different gameplay systems. And that's where the idea that the spin-off might change everything, or nothing, really comes into play, because the impact of a game like this isn't just about its sales or reviews. It's about what it represents. If it introduces ideas that resonate with players, those ideas could shape the future of Assassin's Creed. They could influence how mainline games are designed, how stories are told, and how the franchise evolves over the next decade. But if it doesn't bring anything new to the table, if it plays things safe and sticks too closely to established formulas, then it's unlikely to leave any lasting mark at all. There's also the question of audience expectations, and this is when things get complicated. Assassin's Creed has been around long enough that different groups of players want completely different things from it. Some people want to return to the tightly focused stealth gameplay of the earlier titles. Others love the expansive RPG direction and want even more of it. Some are interested in modern-day storylines, while others only care about the historical settings. Trying to satisfy all of those expectations at once is nearly impossible, which is why spin-offs can be useful. They can target specific audiences without forcing the entire franchise to change direction. But again, that only works if the spin-off has a clear identity and purpose. If this new project lacks that clarity, it risks feeling like it was made to check a box rather than to explore an idea. And players can sense that. They can tell when a game is driven by creativity versus when it's driven by obligation. That distinction matters more now than ever, especially in an industry where time is limited and competition is constant. People aren't just choosing what to play, they're choosing what to ignore. And oversaturation makes that decision easier in the worst possible way. At the same time, it's important not to dismiss the potential here. Ubisoft has the resources, the experience, and the history to deliver something genuinely interesting. They've proven in the past that they can reinvent Assassin's Creed when necessary. They've taken risks before, and some of those risks have paid off in major ways. So it's entirely possible that this spin-off could surprise people. Not because it exists, but because of what it does with that opportunity. If it brings focus back to core mechanics, introduces a compelling new perspective, or simply delivers a polished, well-paced experience without unnecessary bloat, it could stand out in a way that recent entries haven't. Ultimately, this comes down to intent. Not just what the game is, but why it exists. Is it trying to push the franchise forward? Is it experimenting with ideas that couldn't fit anywhere else? Or is it simply filling a gap in the release schedule? Those are the questions that will determine whether this spin-off matters in the long run. Because at this stage in Assassin's Creed lifecycle, being good isn't enough. To stand out, to justify its existence, it has to be meaningful. And that's why this announcement feels so significant even without all the details. It highlights where the franchise is right now. Expansive, ambitious, but also at risk of losing focus. It forces us to think about what we actually want from Assassin's Creed moving forward. More content or better content? More variety or a stronger sense of identity? Those aren't easy questions to answer, but they're necessary ones. So as we wait to learn more about this 2026 spin-off, the conversation isn't just about what the game will be. It's about what it represents. A bold step forward, a safe addition, or something in between. Wherever the answer ends up being, it's going to say a lot about the future of Assassin's Creed as a whole. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And if you want to go even deeper into the gaming industry, check out my Patreon, where my latest exclusive takes a closer look at the rise of subscription gaming and the hidden costs that come with it. Thanks for watching. Game on.